Hey guys, I'm here at the Trinoma Mall, I believe it's called, again at TGI Fridays, and we're just out having dinner here with some friends. But I want to talk a little bit today about saving, because prices here are catching up with us, and I'm starting to notice it this month a little bit because things are going up. Food's going up, prices are going up. I notice menus are changing to try to put lower priced items more on the menus because most people cannot afford to go out to eat as much as they used to. So I noticed a lot more pasta items going on the menus at a lot of the big restaurants and stuff. They're taking off the really expensive stuff because a lot of people don't order it as much. Americans do and some wealthier people do, but I notice that it's just not on there as much. But I want to talk about this a lot because of the fact that a lot of people that are over here, that are coming over here and they think that they can live over here super cheap. And you can if you're willing to eat street foods, things like that. But also prices are catching up with us over here if you live a normal life over here. By normal, I mean you're traveling around, you're doing things, you're going out to see friends, you're living a normal life. You're not staying in your house all the time, sitting there playing on the computer, watching Netflix or whatever. What I'm saying is you live life. You live a normal retired life where you're out doing things. And here's how to kind of beat those prices. When we travel, it's getting costly around here, unless you have your own car. And even that's getting expensive because of all the things that go along with that. Paying for the car, gas prices, insurance, things like that. But here's how I get around it. Usually I use a driver, and I try to use my driver as much as I can. And I'm noticing that, sometimes my driver might be going someplace, and maybe I can catch him on a return run. Like, let's say I'm out someplace. Let's say I'm up in Manila and he's coming up on a Saturday or a Sunday. What I'll do is, he'll let me know, hey, Steve, I'm going to be up in Manila. I'm dropping somebody off. Do you need me to pick you up or something like that? We talk. I'm trying to talk to him more about stuff like that because of the fact that he can help me and I can help him, because I'll get the ride back and maybe I can save 500 pesos or something like that. But also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the buses more. And the other day, what I did was, instead of taking Grab all the way up to Upper Manila or Quezon City, what I do now is I take the PTX bus from Tracy Martirez up here, and I get up to Manila, and then I jump in a Grab, and I save myself a bundle of money by doing that. But not just that, when I'm out and about, what I'm trying to do now is like I talked about this before, it's called a bistro card, and it's good for certain restaurants. You get a free cup of coffee when you walk in. It also gives you some coupons and stuff like that. You pay for the card, but the benefits you get from that card are they're really worth the price that you pay for the card. I think we paid I believe $50 for it or something like that, and it saves you a bundle of cash. Okay, and I use that when I go out to TGI Fridays. I use it for Texas Roadhouse, places like that. But also sometimes, as in today here, it's Saturday here, and I was just in TGI Fridays, and the waitress there was reminding me that today from 11 to 3, if you use your Citibank card, you get 50% off. Well, I missed it by about an hour, but I still got 20% off from using my Bistro card. Okay, and we did get a free cup of coffee too. So I saved some, but I didn't save 50% like I could have. And you have to be more mindful of this stuff when you're traveling out and about. And also look for, bundles. Some of these things here that you can get bundles for if you're out with your family or you're out with friends, and say, hey guys, listen, why don't we all try to save some money and we'll get a bundle, And also they have cocktail hours at some of the places here, like even at TGI Fridays, I believe they have certain hours where you save 30% off their drinks from the bar or whatever. And I'm not a big drinker, but I do like to have like a sangria or something every once in a while, or maybe a beer or whatever with my meal. And it's just kind of nice having that. And I want to talk about this because of the fact that a lot of guys are coming over here, man, and they're in the dark about living over here because they think that Philippines is so cheap. They're living under this false impression that you can live for almost nothing here. And you can if you live out in the provinces and you're willing to live a provincial life and live like a Filipino. And I try to get this through some people's heads because I get so many people calling me saying, hey Steve, I get friends telling me I can live for 500 or 800 if I live out in the provinces. Most people that are American cannot live out in the provinces. And also, guys, if you get sick, look what happened to me. If you get sick or something like that, God forbid, living over here on $1,000 or $1,200, the minimum, and that's if you're living alone, would be $1,500. And if you have a girlfriend, she would have to be working or whatever. And even then, it's dangerous living like that. It just is. You have to be responsible living as an expat. And a lot of expats are coming over here and they're running into trouble over here. And they're running into trouble when they get sick or ill or something like that. They're like, well, it's cheap over there for medical in the Philippines, so I can make it. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen? Well, you could have a heart attack. You could have a stroke. You could have sciatica. You all of a sudden you got to start buying medicines and stuff. You could have a lot of issues. And yes, you can get cheap therapy and cheap massage over here and cheap medical. But if sometimes it can get very costly. Especially if you need an operation, God forbid, or something like that. Stroke, heart attack, cancer, all these things that can still happen to you over here, but we just kind of blow it off. Hey, that'll never happen to me. What does happen to people over here? We see it all the time. We see guys going into a medical center, they can't get out or whatever. I just was seeing an article the other day about some American over here. He's sick and they had him on there asking for money and people were sending him money. And God bless the guy, because, when you see people like that, you got to feel bad for them, because a lot of people that are coming over here, they're poor. They're Americans that are poor, and we can live better over here than we can back home. But here's the thing, back there you got Medicaid. So if you go into, let's say, a nursing home or hospital care and you can't pay for it or whatever, Medicaid will pick it up. That's where the difference is, guys. And a lot of people, they say, well, I'd rather live in the Philippines and be poor over there than back here in the States. Well, in some cases, you're gonna take those words back sometimes if it happens to you. I don't want people to think that when you come over here, that it's gonna be the land of milk and honey and everything's cheap and everything's so cheap anybody can live over here on almost nothing. It's just not that way, and it's not realistic. And so many expats come over here, and they come over here and they're under this false impression that, hey, I can live on $800 a month, or I can live on $600 a month. And if I'm real careful and I stay home a lot, it gets boring sitting at home. It just gets boring. And one of the things I notice is, one of the things I like to do is I like to walk around the malls, because number one is AC. Number two, I can walk around a nice mall. And I'm noticing up here in northern Manila, the malls are even better than Mall of Asia, I think. They really are. Up in QC, I notice a lot of nice malls up here. They're beautiful malls. They're great places to go shopping. Also, when you're out shopping, here's another piece of information you may want to pay attention to. A lot of you guys come over here, and if you shop around at the malls when there's good sales going on, there's always good sales. Shop at the malls because your money goes so fast. Today I was at the mall. I walked into True Value, and we must have spent probably about $3,000 while I was in there. I spent about $3,000 just like that. At a snap of my fingers, I spent $3,000. And I'm trying to shop the sales and see things that are on sale and stuff. And there are places you can shop cheaper and stuff. And you really have to kind of wander around the malls a little bit more and get to know which malls are having sales. Maybe 2-for-1 sales for shoes or something like that. Like at Sperry. Sperry tends to have the 2-for-1 sale. Buy two, get one free, I should say. They have shoes there. You get two. You buy two, you get one set of shoes free a lot. And they always have that sale at Sperry's, I noticed. But also some of the other shoe stores also have sales like that. So it pays to shop around and look for those things, because sometimes you can even get good name brands, like I said, like with Sperry or whatever. And also when you shop around, you may want to, a lot of guys say, well, I want to get a brand name t-shirt. Well, why get a brand name t-shirt when you get the same thing for maybe $400 less? And it might not have the printing on there that you want that says Nike or something else, or New Balance or whatever it is, or some big brand name, or Levi's or something on there. Who knows? I don't care if it has that on there or not. For me, I really could care less. When it's about saving money, we really have to be careful. And over here, it pays to be curry pot. Curry pot means you're cheap. And I don't mind being called cheap sometimes. And I'm not really a cheap person, but I would rather spend that money helping people than giving it to all the stores and stuff like that. I'd rather help poor people over here, and, also help, family members and friends and stuff like that may need help or something like that, than spend it at a Levi's store or something just because it's a brand name. I notice when Filipinos go shopping, it's kind of funny because I've gone out shopping with Filipinos, and I notice when you're out with them, we happen to be looking at sandals, and they're looking at the 1,500 peso sandals, and I'm looking at the 159 sandals over here. And it's just kind of cute to watch it, because if they have the money, they're willing to spend that. But how many people look down at your sandals and say, oh, look at that, those are those really expensive sandals? Nobody really cares what kind of sandals you're wearing, in all honesty. I mean, I don't know what, I understand the brand name thing, that people want to buy brand name because they kind of want to show it off. But how many people look at your feet and say, oh, look, those are the nice sandals, the expensive ones for 1,500? That's why I don't care. I rather get the 100 peso sandals, or the 159 or 200, sandals, because there's really not much difference in sandals in all reality. There is in some of them. If you're looking for a really good pair that have the sole so it fits your foot perfect or something like that, yeah, you're gonna pay 1,500 or whatever. If you're out shopping though, think about things before you buy them, because sometimes it pays to get the cheaper. Because it might save you that extra 1,000 that you need that month later on. Maybe you're gonna have a medical thing that you need to do, or you need to buy some. Maybe you need to buy some, metformin, or some pharmaceutical things for yourself, some medicines or whatever. Or maybe you need to help your family, or you want to help somebody, or you want to help your church, or you want to help some poor people or whatever. That money comes in handy always later. It also should be saved. You guys need to save money when you're over here, and we keep forgetting about things like that. I wanted to talk about that today because it's been on my chest a lot, because I've had a lot of guys call me recently telling me, geez, I've been racking up credit card bills. Even I myself caught myself in that a little bit this past month. I mean, I'm lucky I didn't run it up too high, but I caught myself running up my credit cards a little bit. And I says, you know what? It's time I got to start paying these off and get my debt under control. And my debt's not out of control, but I just said, I gotta stop doing this. And one thing you don't need is to be in debt in the Philippines. Anyway, guys, I wanted to talk about that today, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. God bless, guys. Take care.